Hello and welcome to this week's devlog video of my project Mini Countries. Another 2 weeks have passed and today I would like to go through all the buildings to show you the current state after the concept change I mentioned last time. And there will be some new game footage because in the second week I've created some new visual stuff to create a much better atmosphere for the player in the game. So let's start after the intro. Before we start, I would like to give a big shout out to Jamal Green. Most of you might already know him. He made the soundtrack for Thin Matrix Equinox, and he also made the background music for the trailer of my previous project, Road to Your City. And for Mini Countries, he provides me with tracks for this devlog series. So thank you very much, Jamal. A link to his social media is down in the description. In the previous devlog video, I've already shown the new transport mechanic, which I added to the city. In the meantime, all the other buildings have the new UI as well. So let's go through all the pop-ups. The city pop-up has the transport panel as default tab. In here you see the general transport UI. All the other buildings, except for the trade buildings, have as well. The upper slot is the transport slot, which you can notify by the blue border. This means all the resources which are in here can be clicked and dragged to a connected building. To fill the slot, you have to click on a resource from the resource slots, which are right below. You can stack resources by clicking on them, or you can right click on the transport resource to move them back to the stock. In the other tab you can see some general information about the city. Right on top there is the city name, which will appear in all the notifications about the city, and there is the opportunity to edit and change the name to a city name you like. Right below the city name you see the city level. As already shown in the previous devlog, you can upgrade cities to get some benefits dependent on your upgrade choice. The other two lines are the amount of people living in the city and the resources needed in the city stock to be able to upgrade the city to the next level. The next pop-up is the trade pop-up, and here you only have the production tab. At the top you see the resource which will be produced, and there is a progress which shows you when the current production cycle has finished. Down below you see when the resource will be produced at all. Some of the resources like grapes will only be produced in winter and autumn, so you have to make sure you have enough storage for those resources. You also see how long the production cycle takes and how much resources will be produced within a single production cycle. When a resource has been produced, it will automatically be sent to a connected stock building. Therefore, a trade building can only be connected to one other building. Next is the storage pop-up, which only has the transport panel. The maximum stock amount of a storage building is limited to 25 currently, but I have something in mind which might change that limit in the future. Let's have a look at the industry pop-up. This also has the transport panel again and another tab for the production. In here you have a slot on the left, a slot on the right, with the produced resource and 4 stock resources. First you have to transport resources to the industry building to have them in the stock. Once you get resources in here, you can improve most of them by clicking on it. It will be assigned to the left slot and the production normally starts instantly. If the industry building doesn't have a resource slot available, a little warning icon appears, but if there is enough room for the produced resource, it will be produced and finally be stored within the industry building. Going back to the transport tab, you can now send it to another stock. The port pop-up, you can guess it, also has the transport panel, and it additionally have 2 other tabs. The first one is the import panel, where you can import resources you might need when the ship with resources has been arrived. The last tab brings you to the export panel, where you can earn some knowledge points by exporting some of your resources. And as already mentioned, I also worked on new visuals to make the game a little bit more atmospheric. First, I added birds to the game. There will be birds flying all over the country randomly, and I also added some seagulls to the port, which looks quite cool in my opinion. Another thing I made was a mountain landscape, which was quite easy to model, which makes the landscape a bit more realistic. I also created a sunflowers model, which will appear only in summer and not in winter, of course, which currently hasn't been implemented since they will also look like this in winter as well. But that will be fixed very soon. Moreover, I created a model for wind turbines, which will be placed on tiles next to water to make them move in the wind. They don't have any usage in the game, but improve the game optically. Last but not least, I extended the landscape for the grapes by adding a water sprinkler. I'm going to add much more of these visual improvements in the future. If you have any ideas or wishes that I should definitely add to the game, let me know down in the comments. And that's it for this week. I'm very excited how Mini Countries develops, and I hope you continue following the project. If you want to support me, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great start into the next week, stay healthy, and see you next time. Cheers.